Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now today's video is something that I think will be very useful to all those who are going through pregnancy or planning a pregnancy, because I'm going to be talking about skincare during pregnancy. Now when I got pregnant as a first time pregnant mom, I knew that skincare had to be different, not only because of all the hormonal changes the body is going through, but also there were a lot of restrictions I used to hear from people. Don't use that, don't use this, use this. I was just very confused on what to use, what not to use. I had my own skincare routine, but then I didn't really pay attention to all the ingredients on those products. And I was so scared, what if I'm using something that harms my baby? And my pregnancy in general was rather intense and difficult. And I also went through the IVF process. So I was very, very careful about, what products I should use. I remember in the start, I actually didn't use anything because I was so scared. But I think the important part is educating yourself and kind of going through forums and blogs and figuring out what works best for you. So I did tons of research. I scoured one of my favorite websites, which is 15-Minute Beauty. If you are someone who's expecting, is pregnant, I highly recommend checking that out because they cover all the pregnancy and nursing safe products. So if you have a product that you've been using and you're not sure whether you can continue using it, check that website. Very, very useful. I'm going to list it down here. So I literally went through so many products there, and I saw a lot of other YouTube videos, a lot of blogs, and then I came up with something that kind of worked for me. So first things first, and there are better videos that kind of cover everything, but for someone who's an amateur, someone who's a first time mom and everything, I'm going to make it very simple for you guys to kind of understand some of the guidelines. So first things first, and you would hear this from everybody, is do not use retinol. Now, there is no proven study on what retinol can do to the fetus or to the pregnant mom, and that's the reason why they recommend not to use it. For all you know, nothing happens. My dermatologist, and I did consult a dermatologist, and again, this is not a medical advice. None of this is a medical advice. It's just guides and notes from my experience that could help you. I definitely recommend checking with a dermatologist, your dermatologist, and seeing what works best for you, for your skin condition, because everybody's skin is different. In my case, everybody said don't use retinol, so I just erred on the safer side and I did not use it. Instead, I went for an ingredient called bakuchiol. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that's a good substitute for serums which contain retinol. So I remember using Biosans, but there are a lot of other more affordable brands and better brands that are available in the market. There's True Botanicals, there's Inky, and there are a bunch of these. There's even a Sephora brand which is very good. So all my product recommendation, I'm going to list it in the description below, and you can kind of have a look at it. So that's the first thing. I substituted retinol for using bakuchiol, and that kind of worked out for me. It suited my skin. So that's something I did. The second thing that I switched was I stopped using a chemical sunscreen and I swapped it for a mineral sunscreen. That's what my dermatologist recommended. There are different opinions on that. Some people say it's okay to use chemical sunscreen. The thing is, chemical sunscreen is absorbed more in your skin, and which is why people are and it goes into your bloodstream, which is why people kind of recommend going for a mineral-based sunscreen. So that's what I used. The one I used, I don't remember the name, but I'll list it in the description once I kind of see the name. It's a little difficult to pronounce. But Supergoop has it, Color Science has it. So I know there are a bunch of brands that have very good mineral sunscreen that I would recommend. And again, I'll list all of them. That's the second thing I did. The third thing I did is I stopped using anything that had salicylic acid. So, the foundation I was using, which I love, I absolutely love the Armani Luminous Foundation. That was my complete go-to, but I got to know that it has salicylic acid. The one I switched to is the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation. And again, I verified it with 15-Minute Beauty and I started using that. So So that worked for my skin. For a lot of people who have acne problem because hormones go crazy during pregnancy, a good substitute is to use anything that contains azelaic acid. I think that's very helpful to treat acne or pimples. Again, I'm not a skin specialist. I am not a dermatologist. These are just some things that I found from my research as an amateur. So definitely consult your dermatologist or skin specialist to see what works for your skin. But I've heard azelaic acid has great properties to help with acne. So that's something you can use when you're pregnant. So another guideline I followed was not using any product that had licorice. I think, again, that's how you pronounce it. All these pronunciations are so difficult. And a lot of the products I was using earlier had that, so that's something I eliminated as well. I incorporated a lot of vitamin C, a lot of hyaluronic acid into my routine, and I will share a little bit about what my morning skincare look like, just so that this can help you guys figure out what works best. So I used to wake up in the morning, and the first thing I would do is apply my vitamin C. I use the SkinCeutical. I love it. I love the SkinCeutical ferulic acid, and that's totally safe for pregnancy. I use that, and then what I did is that I mixed a little bit of hyaluronic acid, and I used the one by The Ordinary. Love that brand. With a little bit of moisturizer from Worst. That's another one of my favorite products and favorite brand because so many of their products are pregnancy safe. So huge shout out to Worst. They had sent me their box of products when I was pregnant, and I absolutely loved them. So I mixed a little bit of hyaluronic acid with my Worst cream, my lotion, and I applied on my face. Once that's done, I apply a bit of sunscreen, just because my sunscreen is tinted. So it kind of helps, if I don't want to put foundation, I don't put it. I just put my sunscreen. And again, everybody's sequence can differ. This is what works best for me. And once I put in the sunscreen, I take a little bit of Aquaphor and I kind of seal everything in. And once all of that is done, I just spray my skin with a little bit of a hydrator. It could be a setting spray or just any essence that you want to spray on your skin. So this was my morning routine during pregnancy, and I kind of still follow it even now. So it was very helpful for my skin. This is a little clip which shows my morning skincare routine that I kind of recorded for you guys. So this was very helpful, and the few other switches I did was, in general, my night routine became very simple. I would just put a good moisturizer. I would oil my face a little bit. I love the Drunk Elephant oil, but there are a lot of other oils you can put. Sometimes when I didn't like to put that, I would just put jojoba oil on my face just to give it that moisturizer. And again, I would put a little bit of Aquaphor and Vaseline or a little bit of moisturizer to lock everything in. So my night routine was really simple. I know people have very elaborate 10-12 skincare routine, but during pregnancy, I kept things very simple, things that help my skin on a day-to-day basis. And the whole idea was to just keep it hydrated and moisturized because my skin tends to get very, very dry, and in pregnancy got even drier. So my goal was just to keep it moisturized. So again, very simple. A few other things I did is I didn't use too much of nail polish. The smell kind of bothered me during pregnancy, and there are a lot of brands that are catered to pregnant women, and you can check them out. But for me, I just couldn't stand the smell of nail polish, so I didn't put it. And after Nishka was born, I stopped it even further because it would chip and I would get paranoid about it going into a food or whatever. So yeah, these are very basic things, and I feel like people tend to overcomplicate skincare a lot more than it should be. I think basic hygiene, maintenance, it's washing your face, exfoliating it, using the right toner, and moisturizing it a lot. I feel like as long as your skin is plumped and moisturized, it will really help you. So I kept my skincare very basic during pregnancy. And there were another two things I did. One, I used to use the snail essence, the most talked about snail essence on Amazon and TikTok. I used to use that. That I stopped using because apparently it's not safe during pregnancy. Again, do your research. And the next thing I did is that I also added a little bit of peptides along with vitamin C in my skincare routine, just so that it kind of gave me the plumping effect that I would have if I had used that snail essence. So that's pretty much what I did. Again, not every day I used to do a skincare routine. Some days I didn't do anything. I would just wash my face, put a moisturizer, and that's about it. I feel like during pregnancy in general, your hormones support a lot of your skin and hair because you're already taking the prenatals. So naturally it felt better. Everything goes down once you give birth, and then you start losing hair, your skin becomes dry, and you have to redo your entire routine. But these were some of the things that I incorporated as an amateur first time pregnant mom, and that really helped me. Again, I'm going to list down all of these and some product recommendations that have been part of my research that are really good for pregnant skin in the description below. So make sure you kind of have a look at it. And yeah, that's about it. I think it was a short and simple video. But you know, I always like to share things that can help expecting moms, because I remember I had to research so much and I wish someone kind of guided me on that. So yeah, that's my goal. And then I will see you in many more videos, and you can always follow me on Instagram on socialnupur. DM me whatever questions you may have. I do a lot of videos there and share a lot of pregnancy tips. So yeah, connect with me and I'll see you next time. Till then, lots of love.